Welcome to Keeper of Secrets Tarot. I'm Gypsy Girl here to give you another lesson for today. I am grateful for the energy. I thank you for your likes, your subscribes, your shares. Your comments are most welcome. I am humble, especially when it rains and I take my deck. There is an inner peace because I know that the lesson is random and I don't have to think. Oh, but there is truth. There is truth. There is healing. There is healing again. Our Prince of Wands is healing. Legacy. Very generous with an offer that will come. There is a portal that opened up again here. And someone is leaving. Someone is leaving. They've decided that they want to move on. But that is what we will expect to find in this month of August. Change in action. When you know what you want and you make up your mind to go for it. And you don't let anything stop you. And if you are stopped, it's because you're meant to be stopped. And it is how you respond to that being stopped. What do? That's a lesson right there. Oh goodness, I can't shuffle today. More healing, the Goddess. You seem to have cards that are upside down. The Goddess brings down the Tower. Yeah, some cards are upside down. I'm holding them upside down. Oh, so sorry about this. I'm just noticing it. But we have the Goddess, we have the Tower coming down, we have healing. So that sort of accentuates yesterday. And we have higher knowledge and satisfaction in higher knowledge. It's a higher understanding. So when the Tower comes down, it opens up for deep understanding and major change. We've seen it from the beginning. And I haven't even asked what the lesson is. I'm getting so many messages. Thank you, Spirit, for protecting me, keeping me safe. What is the lesson for today? What does the collective need to learn? Thank you for protecting me and keeping the collective safe. Now we have forgiveness. The Magician. Protecting what you love. The humbling. Well, I say humbling. It's a loss. It's a loss. The Emperor is regretting, holding back. Manifesting now for a new relationship. So the Emperor's loss, he's suffering a loss. There is regret. And it could be that, from holding back and now manifesting. So holding back and protecting, but feeling the regret of that holding back, because he's looking right at it. And that encourages a manifestation for forgiveness. So the Emperor, oh look, it's the King of Cups. So our Emperor, oh, there's more here. The Ace, okay. And the Legacy. So this King of Cups is thinking hard. He's very emotional, and he's thinking about the legacy. And it's probably that, wanting to start something new and take control. Regretting holding back, now wanting to manifest a new relationship. Someone's story right here. Okay, it's for marriage. It's for marriage. The king wants to marry. What is the lesson for today? Thank you, Spirit. I will be posting readings soon, so make sure not to forget to hit that notification bell. What is the lesson for today? Thank you, Spirit. What is the lesson for today? Thank you for teaching us. What is the lesson? What is the lesson for today? What is the lesson for today? Oh, we have our Hermit, so we're healing. A lesson in the 9. That's a lesson. Just want to make sure it's in the frame. Sorry. This is Higher Arcana. So Spirit is looking down and saying, well, you need to heal. You need to learn what healing is all about. This is deep, because when this card shows up, this is an internal process that we are guided to. And I don't want to say we're forced and taken and pushed. That would be the 7, the Chariot. Here, we do it willingly. We bring ourselves to a point of, I don't want to talk to anybody. I want time for myself. I need to be alone. When those key phrases come around, it's because we're hurting deeply inside. We may not even know it. It brings us to the point of, I don't want to be around people. And you may not even put your finger on why. You just know that you want to be alone, or you want time for yourself. And that is Spirit triggering us to go into our psyche and really sit with ourselves. And when I say ourselves, any part of ourselves that needs to be looked into. And that could mean anything. Like I said, you want to be alone, you want to do things on your own, you want to just not see anybody. Say, I just don't want to talk to anybody today. And you turn your phone off, or you spend more time alone in your room, just being with yourself. Whatever you're doing, reading, sleeping, just watching movies, or whatever, you just pull away, and that pulling away is the beginning of a realignment. So the lesson here is recognizing what needs to be healed, because it's vast. For everyone it will be different. For everyone it will be different, because we come equipped with certain skills, certain knowledge, certain attributes of I would say leadership and victimization, ego. I mean, all of that. We come into this world with those parts of us that make us different and yet similar to each other. But it's in the differences that we can go into ourselves at different times. This doesn't happen to everybody at the same time. Certain stages in your life, you just want to be alone, or you want to study something that will keep you away from people, for example. Just studying astrology, for one, is something that you have to pull yourself away so that you could focus. And I say that we want to be alone, or we take the time to be by ourselves, is because that is the healing process. When we can pull away from what it is that we are so attached to, and go in and reflect on why, first of all, we want to pull away, or why we are so attached to. Like, we question. This card helps, and not just this card, but the 9 in any suit. It makes us question, because it is a culmination. We need to see that this is the end of something. And in the Hermit, the end of something is where we literally turn our heel and go into what it is that Spirit says, you need to go and do this. And this is why you took the time alone to think about it, so that you could go and do that thing. It's sort of, we could call it the epiphany. It's like an epiphany that comes to you, and you just say, okay, I want to be by myself. I want to study this thing. Or I want to just cut away from people and be by myself and do things by myself on my own, because there's too much drama around, as an example. And that pulling away is, again, where you go in and you follow the path that Spirit has put you onto. Because when this card comes up, even in a lesson, it means that there is direction that needs to be taken. But internal direction, personal direction. And there is a requirement of alone time. Really being with yourself and looking into what it is that you really want out of life, where you see the aspects of what you've done and what has come about from what you've done. And that can be on any level, right? Just take it as it resonates, because this is a depth that is dark. It really is complicated enough to say that I could sit here and talk about this for an hour, and it will only be scratching the surface. But the general idea of this card showing up is that Spirit is saying we need to take that time out and go within and reflect on where we've been, the journey that we've been on, where we've come to, and where we want to go. That is a lot of alone time. but we do it in small amounts. And if you feel inclined to just cut away from people, even if it's for a day or an hour, then that is Spirit just nudging you in the direction of what would be your destiny. Because this is the 9. Following is the 10, and that would be the Wheel of Fortune. So Spirit is giving us that sort of a dead stop so we could be prepared for the positioning on the wheel. Our next step. Let's see what the tool is. Oh, we have the 8. We're going backwards. 9 and 8. This is mental. This is going around and around. That little hamster, he's tired. He's thinking too much. Spirit says to let everything sit. But then that is what makes us think. And the tool is that we are thinking, that we want to change our mindset because we're thinking about things and how they've been and where they're going and where I want to go. And because again, this is our level here. Spirit has put us on a rock and says, okay, sit here. And now we're sitting. Well, the only thing to do is think. So we're doing what we're supposed to do. And this in respect to thinking and thinking about speaking too, right? Because this is the swords. So this is communication, but on a mental level within the self. So it's a lot of talking to yourself about what you've done and if you're satisfied with what you've done and what you want to do and thinking it out and talking it out, but you're doing it alone in both cards. So Spirit is really giving us that space, mental space, emotional space. Remember, I always come up and say that this is a healer, the Hermit. So we're thinking about healing. If we're not thinking about our next drama session that will come, I mean, if we're serious, we're working out what needs to be healed in our lives and the direction our life is taking us in accordance to healing. Now, I say healing a million times, but it's not because I want to just promote healing. This is the lesson today, and I can't help but say healing. And at this point, it's a doctorate in healing, because we're thinking about healing and leading our lives with healing. Not for everybody, but this is where doctors come in. Okay, when you think about what is it that you want to do in life and how you want to go about it in profession, I mean, to become a doctor. These two cards showing up would just say, well, I'm thinking about it being a healer, because it does fit. But that is how we change our life. If we see that we are progressing to a healing level where we can help others to heal. Because that comes in here too, in this lesson of healing. It's not just for ourselves, it's for others around us. And how we respond, because that's what we're thinking about, how we respond to the healing that Spirit is giving us spills over. Like you see here, it spills over. It goes out there into the world with other people. No, I just said we're just going in alone, and we're being alone, spending time alone and cutting away from people. For sure, we have to do that. That's why we have this thinking process going on. But the goal in this lesson is to be able to take a lesson of healing and share it and spread it and put it out there for other people, so that anyone can have the effects of what this lesson brings. This is beautiful. Let's see what Spirit is doing. Again, it's a legacy. Understanding. Spirit is giving us this knowledge of what a legacy is, of what happiness. This is a marriage card. So abundance in family and all of this detailed work that we've done on ourselves and with others, we want to bring in and continue. We want to continue this process of building and detailing and working with and then creating and continuing a legacy. So we're thinking about a legacy of healing. We're thinking about healing a legacy. See, Spirit is giving us a lot of work here for healing, for building up a legacy, even marriage, divorce in some cases, because it is an ending. It is an ending and it is a beginning at the same time when the tens come around. It's something that ends and then something begins. So we're thinking, lots and lots of thinking going on here, but not thinking in a hurtful way or suffering that thought. That would be the 9 of Swords, where we're in anguish. Here we're trying to work it out, figure things out. What do I want to do for work? Where do I want my work to take me? Because this is work as well, right? Is my healing going to help me with work? Do I want to be a healer? What am I healing? See, this is very deep, this card. Especially when the thought process is showing up, because we're thinking about everything. So if Spirit is giving us everything that we could possibly need and know, or need to know, to help us move with this healing process, Spirit is giving us everything that we can win, that we could lose, because again, it's an ending, it's a beginning. What we can build on, what we could take into the future, what we can create. And then we go into our thought process with all of that, and we think about what needs to be healed in our lives. We think about how we can help others heal, because we are very oriented with building a legacy. This legacy is dominant here, wanting to heal it, and that is not for everybody. Just take it as you feel. If it's work, you're not feeling well, you're ill, you have to go see a doctor, you're thinking about it, you're thinking about consequences of work. You see how easy it is to fit it into everyday life. Process here is how we heal. Thinking about how we're going to do this work. How are we going to heal? What are we going to heal and how we're going to do it? What is the gift, if this is where our mind is going towards healing? If we're focusing on the healing process, then Spirit is giving us the abundance. Spirit is giving us everything that we need to focus on the healing process. And this is good news, because this is an amazing God to have, whether you're ending up something as a cycle goes, or if you're starting up something as a new beginning goes. It's beautiful. And the fact that it's all relating to healing makes it even more beautiful, because we're helping We're not hurting, we're helping. So what is the gift? Just desserts. I call it just desserts. It's judgment. It's the ending of a cycle. It is just desserts. It is destiny. It is facing that which we do not want to face. Again, with the healing, it balances out. This is a judgment call. This is when the original deck, we see the archangel with the trumpet sounding, and people who are rising up from their graves. You see how dark this healing process can become if we're going into death, because we have to die in order to be reborn. We have to end in order to begin. And we have to have that knowing, that understanding, that thought process of how we go through the death process in order to heal. Again, this is very dark and it's very deep. Wherever Pluto shows up, it's extremely dark because Pluto brings us into our own death, whether we see it through another or we're facing it ourselves. When you face your own suffering, we're thinking about it. Spirit is giving us this gift, and this gift here is not just facing our darkest side or going into a death process. It's not just that. I mean, this is where tarot would have earned its reputation for being an evil tool, because of cards like this, and the Tower and the Death card. It brings fear, because that is how people move. They move through their fear. Their fear brings up adrenaline, that fight or flight. So when cards like this would come up, the fear of death, the fear of losing, the fear of dying would be brought in, because if you don't do, you're going to die. And if you don't fix, you're going to die. And if you don't heal, you're going to die. We are going to die. That is a given. It's just a question of when, not if. But it is all on a philosophical level here. This is not predicting death in a family or anything. No. This is, it has to be more than this to say we're looking at a death in a family. But here, Pluto makes us see, because we are able to process what is a legacy and our thought process to make change in our life that is on a healing basis. That brings us to our just desserts. And the reward, as you can see, it's riches, but we take it literally, thinking we're going to have rubies and emeralds falling out of the sky, hitting us in the head. Yeah, we could die from that, but no. That's just to say that abundance, this is abundance, and this is abundance. It is wealth. But what is valuable to you brings in that wealth. Your just desserts. If you're doing this change process for healing, to get money as work, yeah, that's possible. It's a positive. But then this is building up value in your thoughts, changing your mindset, seeing things in a more positive light, for example. You change the way you think, you change your destiny. You heal what has been hurt or broken. I mean, go back in the lessons and see. There's all kinds of stories that we could come up with about people hurting on each other and trying to get one up on the other and completely destroying lives of others. I mean, this is what needs to heal. This is what needs to heal. And I ask, what is the lesson for today? It is a healing of a legacy. And it's not our legacy, it's everyone who is inclined to follow the teachings of Spirit in a healing process will get their just desserts. And this is a positive, because a healing process is not negative. It's not negative. To heal is to recognize that there is suffering. Once you recognize your own suffering, that is the beginning of a healing process. And when you are able to take those steps, change your mind, then you get to go on and be happier. You get to be called in to what would be family or a group, if it is that you're healing that, a family or a group. What is at the bottom of the deck? Well, we have our our King of Pentacles, the leader of the pack. So he would be the one to bring in this healing process. Let's see what we're going to have follow this King of Pentacles. We have a victory. We have reciprocity. So yes, it is healing. There is unfairness that needs to be brought to be fair. It's fine. Yeah, this card went in upside down. These are the cards from yesterday. I put them in upside down. I'm just going to flip them around. It's all the cards that we have. There, see, there's a healing. There's love. Well, there's love, and then there's love. Okay, so the victory is in just that, recognizing what needs to be healed. If we just take these 4 cards, our King of Pentacles is the Emperor on earth, okay? So the leadership in the healing process. This is beautiful. It's a victory. There is a reciprocity that needs to be paid out, and that is part of the healing. There is a mindset that needs to change so that fair and equal feeling can come about. And this is where the 6 plus the 1, again, it's all about things in the past. So we're healing, and Pluto brings up that stuff from the past that needs to be healed. And it's looking like it's related to family here, because we have the family legacy. We have a mindset to heal, to make things fair because of what was done in the past. That's what these 2 bring. And because it's broken, it's a little difficult. Some may be stubborn, but then this is a healing conversation. It's major. We're going down from the 8 to the 4, so we're working it out in our heads so we could talk it out. This is good, and it's going to be loving. That healing process is going to bring that love, and here it is, giving it up to the goddess. So we're continuing. This king, he's going to humble himself. He's going to get recognized. And not just that he's going to get recognized, he is going to recognize the unfairness that was put towards his goddess. And that is what's going to get the healing done, because of the love for the goddess. And the goddess's love is right here. I mean, she is all love, healing love, that's going to be spoken. There are words that are going to come, that need to come. And I'm so happy for that. Very dark and very deep. Thank you, Spirit. What is the oracle message for this lesson? It's a beautiful lesson in healing. And I mean, all the talk about healing, and in today some people are going to say, God, this woman only says the word healing. We should count how many times. And I hope every time I say it that there is a healing that's happening. Good news is coming, because good news is going to come from this. We have judgment call. We have victory. We have healing going on. We have all the love that could possibly come with this process. Spirit is leading the healing. No. You have to fix. Telling the king here, you have to fix what happened to your goddess. You have to fix that. You have to heal that. And he will. He will. Because he wants to. He wants to talk. Been wanting to talk for I don't know how many lessons we've been seeing, and holding back and wanting to speak and picking the right time to talk. Yes. You will. You will heal your relationships. Those of you who want to heal your relationships. And there, if you remember seeing people walking away, well, some of you in healing, you will walk away. That's what August is bringing. Complete and utter change. What is the oracle message for this lesson? Thank you, Spirit. Sex magic. So, and sacrifice. Okay. What's behind that? Self-wisdom. So, self-worship. So, and then one more. We have the truth. Sun God. So, speaking the truth. Healing the truth. The truth. The truth. God love the truth. Speak the truth. Heal. I draw on my body with an invisible blade, carved with the bliss of lustrous teeth. It is in the allure that I will meet blood and flesh. This card, it helps us to release our inhibitions. Because you are able to let go and release yourself and enjoy your life. And because some of us are able to just do that. There are others right here who just can't stand it. They see that envy that comes with the victory. So our king is going to have envy around him because he is healing and because he is changing his mindset. There are those who just can't stand to know that you are okay. In this card, it is about having sex and being free with your sex and just knowing that you're okay with your sexuality. Now remember, there are others who are not. There are others who hold back and they say, well, I can't do that and I won't do this. And it all depends on what it is. I mean, we're not having a sex conversation here with this, but it's just to give a more depth to this card. And what it really means is if you're sexually free, then you are okay in your skin with what you are free with. But there are those who are not. And they don't want to see you happy in your freedom. What you are willing to do, another is holding back on fear of doing that. And we're not judging what one does and what one doesn't. We're not talking about just sex here. We're talking about your life, what you're willing to extend yourself. If again, the lesson here is in healing. The lesson here is in healing. And how this card plays in is sex is a form of healing. And if it is, the pleasure is there, as well as the process of healing, how you go through your sexual life. Because it's a question of legacy for one. Okay? We're looking at legacy here. And we're looking at how we can heal. And then this card shows up. Well, it is about a relationship. And then there's sacrifice. We need to give up something. And it is because we were unfair. We were given too much somewhere else. So we were not given enough to where more was supposed to go. I mean, you look at it in your life. If you have to heal a relationship and have a conversation that brings in healing and brings in balance, but there is jealousy, there is envy attached to the healing process. And you must know that, because that in itself needs to be healed. Whoever is in the circle or outside of the circle looking in, they are attached to this healing process. And the king has to find a way to separate himself so that he can focus. And this is where going alone, the king needs to go alone and sit with himself and cut away from whomever in order to come back to what he's comfortable with. And if it is a question of a sex life, then healing that in itself is what the king needs to do. In how, well, that is the depth that we have to go into, and this is where judgment comes in. And this is where legacy comes in. Now remember, Spirit is giving us everything that we need to know about what it is family, what it is business, what it is building and creating and ending and starting and continuing. Spirit is giving us all of this knowledge, saying use what you know, heal it, whatever it is. And in this case, it's a relationship. And it makes sense because we're looking at queens, and we're looking at reciprocity to be had, and judgment here because something is wrong, something needs to be righted. And Spirit says your gift is to go and look at all of what you don't want to look at and heal it. And you will want to do it because you want to take the time alone. Remember, I did say, if Spirit says you're not going anywhere, you're not going. And if Spirit says you need to go in and be alone, that is exactly what's going to happen, so that you can go and focus on what needs to be focused, because your mindset is calling to it. Okay? So just know that if someone else is not able to rise above, they will want to bring you down with them. They're not able to see change and go with it. They don't want you to have it, because there is envy attached to this. There is ego attached to this, especially if it is concerning sex life, yours or someone else's. But fairness is to come. So the sacrifice, something, the king needs to give up something. We all need to sacrifice something in order to get more, in order to have what is due to us. Let's see how it reads out. You must find the ebb and flow of life within your very self. Embracing it all is embracing truth. Now, we've had this card, so we need to be honest. That is where the talk comes in, and the love, that loving conversation that needs to take place, is where the truth will show itself. Self-worship, again another 9. My hands fold as I speak to the stars, watching as the sky holds its breath. It's in stillness that I find all that I am and all of divinity within me. Your healing powers, when you focus on you, self-worship, when we go into what it is that we truly want. My hands fold as I speak to the stars, watching as the sky holds its breath. It's in stillness that I find all that I am and all of divinity within me. So just know that Spirit knows what we need when we need it. And see, we come back to creation. The sun god, come all, come now, expand into the skies and into the shadows below. So the truth needs to come out. The truth needs to be spoken. And I keep saying that. I've been hearing myself saying it. And it will be spoken. I thank you for showing up, for your likes, your subscribes, and your shares. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And if this lesson didn't come to you as a lesson today, don't worry. It'll come round again. Love and light.